Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Moran. I'm the author of the superhero novel trilogy series called Believers, and we are currently in Book 2, Chapter 19, Recovery. Is that Jerry on the news? Cynthia asked. Oh, thank God, Mrs. Miller exclaimed. I know Mr. Miller is working outside. I'll go tell him now and get him to come inside. Thank you, dear. He'll be thrilled, Mrs. Miller said with a sigh of relief. Cynthia ran outside and told Mr. Miller the good news. He dropped his tools and rushed inside to watch the TV news report. Cynthia texted all of Jerry's closest friends and believers, letting them know what was happening. Everyone sat quietly watching the TV news report with anticipation. Good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. on Channel 12 News, and we have breaking news about a major earthquake that just occurred in Indonesia. The entire country was rocked at its core, but the city of Tugu Hilir was devastated. 5,000 people are dead, 12,000 injured, and believe it or not, it could have been worse. We have a video of America's superhero, Jerry Miller, helping during the earthquake. There was a huge skyscraper, over 700 feet tall, falling over, and 3,000 people were stuck inside. If you look closely, you can see Jerry Miller fly in and stop the building from falling. He held it up long enough for most citizens to evacuate the building. Then an unexpected explosion caused the building to collapse upon itself. Jerry Miller narrowly escaped harm and was spotted saving a young girl from a deadly sinkhole. His actions saved thousands of lives, and the citizens of Tuga are grateful. However, this catastrophe caused significant damage to the city and its people. They are requesting financial aid from their allies and anyone willing to donate. You can visit the website on the screen for more details. We will continue to follow this story and provide updates later in the day. Cynthia and the Millers were shocked and relieved, finding it hard to believe that Jerry was able to continue his superhero life after losing Leah. All their phones were ringing and buzzing repeatedly with phone calls and text messages from family and friends. Things were hectic after that news report, and then Jerry walked in the door. Cynthia ran to the door and hugged him, but he was tired and sad. He smelled like smoke and concrete, his clothing covered in sweat and dust. He looked at everyone and said, I need to shower. Then he walked upstairs. He felt everyone's emotions in the room and knew they had many questions, but he wasn't ready to face them. Jerry took off all his clothes and threw them in the trash. They were gross and drenched in awful memories. While Jerry was showering, Cynthia said, I love you, and placed his cell phone on top of the bathroom counter. Then she walked back downstairs. They respected his privacy and gave him plenty of space, sensing that he needed more time before talking about everything that happened. Jerry soon finished showering and walked into his room. He held his cell phone and looked around the room, realizing that he was surrounded by Leah's memories. Since she had moved into his room recently, she had a few personal items lying around, including her spare clothes, shoes, a blanket, and a diary. Jerry had never seen her diary before and opened it. It was full of writing about Jerry. She talked about how they met and all the wonderful things he'd done for her. Jerry forced himself to read it all, and it made him sick. He did it on purpose to torture himself, believing that he needed to be punished for failing to save her life. After reading her diary, he opened his cell phone and stared at the last picture they took together. He wanted to feel everything all over again and never live it down. Thankfully, Cynthia mustered up her courage and knocked on Jerry's door. He opened the door and sat back down on the bed without looking at her. Cynthia entered his room, closed the door, and sat down next to him on the bed without saying a word. She waited patiently, not wanting to interrupt Jerry, but instead choosing to support him in silence. He understood her completely and felt grateful to have her in the room. Her presence reminded him that other people cared about him, so he began listening to voicemails and reading text messages on his phone. Chief Grimes. Your father called and told me everything. I am deeply sorry that Leah died. I remember her running around my wedding reception like it was yesterday. She was a kind, energetic, and happy girl. You gave her everything you could, and she thought the world of you. Never forget that you are an incredible young man with a strong heart that cares too much about everyone. I'll never forget everything you've done for my son, the police, and our city. Thank you for everything, Jerry. Hope you feel better soon. Agent X. Hey, Jerry. I'm sorry to hear about Leah. The FBI and I take the blame for this one. We usually monitor you and your loved ones more closely, but we decided to give you space for that boating trip and it backfired. We also don't understand how or why Laserpoint was involved. We're investigating it as we speak. For now, take time off work as much as you need. By the way, you did a great job in Indonesia. America and the world salutes you. Ryan. Dude, you need a vacation. Your life is way too stressful. Come visit me in Pompano Beach. We'll party and hang out like the good old days. Vaughn. Jerry, I know there's nothing I can say to make you feel better. Leah was an amazing girl and someone you'll never forget. Just remember that we're all here for you. I'll get Blake and the gang together anytime you want to talk, train, or hang out. Just let me know. Blake. Bro, I'm so sorry. I know she was like a daughter to you. I can't even imagine what you're going through right now. If you want, I can talk to the NFL and we can do a special tribute to Leah at the next football game. Let me know. Peace. Megafist. I'm not used to this kind of stuff, and I don't know what to say. So if you're angry and want to fight, come see me. Whatever bad stuff is bouncing around your head, I'll beat it out of you. See ya. Mr. Cream. I wish there was more I could do for you. Losing someone important is always tough. I hope you're doing okay. I'll always have your favorite ice cream waiting for you. Dr. Wong. I'm terribly sorry for your loss. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. Thank you again for helping us here at NASA. Jerry replied to each person above, thanking them for checking in on him and telling them that he's doing okay. Hearing from his friends made him feel slightly better. However, the last text message sent by Alina was a bit surprising. Alina, you're a terrible person and it's all your fault. Just kidding! But I know it's exactly what you're thinking. I can read minds, remember? Anyway, you need to stop blaming yourself. I'm sure Cynthia is next to you while reading this. So tell her to woman up and whip you back into shape. Don't make me go over there. Good luck, Jerry. Jerry scratched his head, confused about how he should feel about reading that message. Cynthia turned bright red and said, I can't believe Alina sent that. Jeez, what does she expect me to do? Jerry shrugged and replied, I guess it's your job to whip me back into shape. The ball's in your court. I think Alina wants me to get your mind off of the bad stuff and help you move on with your life. Okay, then take the lead, Cynthia. Do your best to get my mind off Leah, an innocent little girl whom I let die on my shoulders. That's not fair, Jerry. You can't blame yourself for that. You can't control every idiot with superpowers. Maybe. Except for the fact that I gave that idiot superpowers and therefore it's my fault. Cynthia was caught off guard and paused for a moment. Then she remembered something important. Don't you remember Laserpoint's background story? He was a sniper before gaining powers, and he could have easily shot Leah with a gun. It would have been the same result. Bad people will always find a way to hurt others if they want to. That's the worst part, Jerry blurted out and punched a nearby pillow. I don't know if he was bad or not. Laserpoint stuttered and mumbled after I beat him up. He acted like he felt guilty about his actions and killed himself. Why would he do that? If he felt that way, then why did he kill Leah? Jerry was visibly filled with frustration and anger. He now seemed more irritated than he was before Cynthia walked in. She did not feel like she was doing a great job. She looked sad, feeling like a failure. Her skin grew cold and she leaned on Jerry, feeling at a complete loss. He felt her emotions, cold and dead as if she'd given up. He felt guilty and gave her a long, warm hug, taking a silent moment to consider her position in the situation. Alina forced Cynthia to take charge and make me feel better. But maybe that's not right. None of this is Cynthia's fault, so why is she being held responsible? It's my job. I'm the superhero. I'm the fiance. And I'm the one who can make things right. Cynthia's long brown hair was covering her face, so he gently moved it aside and revealed her tear-filled eyes. She quickly shut her eyes and tried wiping her tears away, but Jerry said, I'm sorry. I know this has been tougher on you than anyone else. You cared about Leah and wanted her to be happy because you knew it would make me happy. And you did a great job. We were all happy together, and now we have to find a way to be happy without her. Maybe the best way is to create a new memory, something that will make her smile if she's watching over us. So, I have an idea. Jerry walked into his closet, shuffled through all his clothing, and took out a few items. A black leather jacket, black gloves, navy blue jeans, long socks, and black boots. He quickly got dressed, and Cynthia watched Jerry with utter confusion, waiting for him to explain. Soon enough, he looked at her and said, Now it's your turn. Jerry closed his eyes and concentrated. Cynthia stood still and trusted him fully. Bright energy slowly washed over her from head to toe. A few seconds later, the energy dissipated, and Cynthia looked fashionably new. She now wore a white snow coat, red gloves, black pants, and red boots. Cynthia looked in the mirror and smiled widely, loving her new outfit. Then she looked at Jerry and eagerly asked, Are we going to see snow? Jerry smiled in return, took Cynthia's hand, and they both disappeared. They both reappeared together on top of a snow mountain in Colorado. The cold temperature was drastic compared to Miami weather. Thankfully, they came prepared. Cynthia spun around in a full circle, taking it all in. She could see tall trees and branches covered in snow. She stared at all the mountains with awe, feeling surrounded by nature's colossal structures. She soon she soon fell backwards, allowing herself to hit the soft, powdery bed of snow. Her body sunk down, and she felt happily cold, knowing that she was far from Miami and experiencing something new. Since her father had left their family at a young age, money was tight, and they never traveled outside of Florida. Therefore, Cynthia enjoyed every second of this unplanned winter getaway. Jerry, however, felt very different when he arrived. Nostalgia unexpectedly washed over him, and he calmly observed his surroundings. He had so many incredible memories. His family took him on many snow vacations in Colorado. His childhood was amazing, and all he wanted was to give Leah the same opportunities. He imagined Leah snowboarding down the mountain, throwing snowballs, building a snowman, and playing tackle football in the snow, using her powers to run through family and friends to score a touchdown. He smiled at the thought, but then cringed with guilt, knowing that she would never have that chance. Cynthia felt Jerry's emotions and said, Leah would have loved being here with us. Definitely, Jerry replied, as he walked over to Cynthia and sat down next to her on the snow. Tell me your favorite memory here, Cynthia requested. Jerry looked around, thought to himself, and then explained. I loved snow skiing, but I was young, and my older family and friends were always faster than me. One day I became desperate to win, so I got real reckless and flew down the mountain as fast as I could. I kept picking up speed and blasted past everyone. I was so excited. I thought I would reach the bottom of the mountain and brag to everyone about winning. But I didn't notice a small jump at the path. I hit that jump at full speed and soared through the sky. Screaming in terror, I failed the landing and crashed hardcore. My skis and poles all went in different directions. I tumbled along the snow and landed on my back with the wind knocked out of me. I could barely breathe, but I won the race. Everyone was worried about me, but I didn't have any major injuries. At the time, I thought it was dumb luck, but now I'm pretty sure my power saved me. I could have been crippled for life. I guess everything happens for a reason. Cynthia sensed a bittersweet feeling at the end of Jerry's story, so she asked, Have you ever thought about that phrase, everything happens for a reason? Of course I have. My dad said to me 100 times growing up. Well, I think you need to apply it to your life right now. What do you mean? Cynthia took a deep breath. mustered up all her courage, and clarified. You did everything you could for Leah. You made her life 10 times better while she was alive. You even defied all odds and extended her life. Did all of that happen for a reason, or just the ending? Jerry thought about her words carefully and realized Cynthia may have a point. He looked at her expectantly, and she continued. Leah's ending was tragic, and you believe it's your fault. But what about all the wonderful times she had with you? All the great memories and experiences you gave her? How about being part of a loving family and getting everything she ever wanted? Isn't all that your fault too? If you believe everything happens for a reason, then you have to accept all the good and the bad, right? I think you did more good for her than anyone else, which makes you the best guy in the world. Jerry's happiness soared through the roof. Any sadness he felt earlier was gone. He stared at Cynthia, his future wife, with all the love in the world. His energy level surged and he confidently swept her off her feet. She laughed aloud and held on tight as he carried her to the very edge of the cliff. She was both excited and scared as she gazed over all the Colorado mountains, thinking Jerry might jump off the cliff with her to show off his powers. She closed her eyes and held on in anticipation. But Jerry surprisingly channeled warm, soothing energy into her body, calming her down as he told a story. Do you know how many times I stood on this cliff alone? Sometimes I snuck away from everyone at night just so I could lay here and stare at the stars. Whenever I saw a shooting star, I would make a wish, the same wish every time. I never wanted money, fame, or power. I wanted a beautiful girl to find me on this cliff, someone who understood my heart and soul, someone who would fall in love with me and my family, and then you came along. You found me in school, the most terrifying cliff, and held my hand. You gave me everything I ever wanted, and I'll spend the rest of my life thanking you for that. Cynthia smiled and replied, I guess everything happens for a reason. Then she winked and they kissed. They stayed on that cliff together for quite a while, enjoying their time of peace, far away from problems and stress. All was well until Jerry received a troubling phone call. And that's it. We finished chapter 19. Thank you all very much. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the future. Thank you so much.